Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be cooking the Thanksgiving meal to show you guys how I cook my turkey. I remember the first time that I made turkey at home. It wasn't the best experience because I remember all the dishes and everything. It's a lot of hard work, but it's definitely so worth it at the end. It was so delicious. So let's go ahead and get started. So first here I'm using some butter and I'm just going to be putting this all over the turkey. As you guys can see, I'm going to be putting it inside the skin, around the legs, around the wings, just basically everywhere. And then I'm also going to be turning the turkey around and I'm going to be adding some butter on the back side as well. One thing that I will tell you is that you will have to be washing your hands a lot throughout the process. Unless you have like one hand clean and then one to work with, that would be great, that would be better. But here I'm using both of my hands and I'm going to be washing throughout the video. For extra flavor, I'm going to be adding some garlic, lemon, pepper, and salt. And then once I add all the spices, I'm going to flip the turkey over with one of my hands and I'm going to be adding all the spices in the back too. And then I'm just going to be rubbing it all over the turkey. And then for the main ingredient, I'm going to be using some mushroom sauce. And this is probably the best thing that you can add to your turkey. It's going to make it so juicy. And I'm going to be using 2 cans of this. I'm going to be using 1 can for the top of the turkey and then the other can for the bottom. You can also avoid this step and do it the night before and just leave it marinating all night. It'll definitely get a lot more flavor that way. So that is one big tip that I have for you guys, is just to wash and cut everything the night before. That way you can just take it out of the Tupperware and cook it. I remember the first time that I made a Thanksgiving dinner, I got all the pans and all the pots ready the night before, and I even took out extra storage just in case we had leftovers, and I labeled everything. That way everything could have been organized and it was a lot less work the day of. Okay, so last year I made my turkey in the crock pot, so I'm going to be making it here again. I love the way that it came out. I'm going to be putting it in high and I'm going to be using some of this chicken broth, just a little bit, because the turkey itself lets out a lot of juice. And you're going to notice that the turkey is really big, so obviously the top is not going to fit in it, but I did it this way last year and it turned out perfectly. So I'm going to be putting it with a little bit of foil paper on the top, and that's going to be covering it for a couple of hours until it's almost done. Then it's going to settle and then I will be able to put on the cover. So the first thing that I do before I do anything else is wash the sink area with a little bit of soap and water. But before that, I'm going to be just kind of scrubbing everything with my hand, and then I'm going to be washing the dishes and I'm going to be deep cleaning the sink with soap and water. So the turkey takes way longer if you cook it in the crock pot rather than an oven. So usually I wait to make all the sides towards the very end. So right now I'm just going to be making some cookies. I got these chocolate chip ones and I got some sugar cookies as well, and I'm going to be making these in the oven. So a few hours have passed by and I'm finally going to start making the sides. So I'm going to be using this stuffing turkey flavor and I'm going to be using some chicken broth instead of water because it calls for 1.5 cups of water. So one tip that I have for you guys is to use chicken broth, and it just gives it a lot more flavor. And I'm also going to be adding some butter and I'm going to be letting it melt, and then I'm going to be adding the stuffing and mixing it all together. Alright, so here I am showing you guys the process of the turkey, and these are the veggies that I cut out the night before, and I'm just going to be putting it into the water, and this is just going to give it a lot more flavor. And I know it looks like turkey soup or whatever you want to call it, but trust me, towards the end of the video you're going to see that it does not look like soup at all. It definitely tastes really good, a lot more juicy, a lot more flavor. Now I'm going to be cooking up the green beans, and first I'm going to start by cooking up the bacon. I am going to be cooking it until it's like semi-cooked, and then I'm going to be adding the green beans, that way they can finish cooking together. And then on the other pan I'm going to be adding a little bit of butter so that way I can cook my corn over there. And then I'm going to be adding some salt and pepper to the bacon, that way I can give it a little bit of more flavor. And then I'm going to be adding the green beans, and you'll see later on I'm going to be adding a little bit of extra salt and pepper. So definitely up to you, the way you prefer the taste of it. You can also add in more spices if you'd like to. And this is the corn that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to be pouring it right over here with the butter, and I'm going to be adding some salt and pepper to that as well. In the back I have a pot with boiling water, and I'm just going to be putting the potatoes in there to boil. Okay, so little update here on the turkey. This is how it's looking so far. And then here I have another pot of boiling water, and this is where I'm going to be making the gravy. This is the one that I chose. It's just a brown gravy mix. And you can also use some of the turkey water for this process. It gives it a lot more flavor. It's so yummy. But today I'm just going to be using some water, or you can also use some chicken broth or beef broth or turkey broth, anything that you want for extra flavor. Here I have all the potatoes all peeled, and then I'm just going to be adding butter, salt, and pepper, and I'm just going to be mushing them together. And the last side is the bread. I just popped them into the oven for a couple of minutes until they toasted. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have lots of different kinds of videos here, and I would love to have you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!